My name is Todd St. I am based out of Brooklyn, New York. My studio is called HunterGather. Sometimes I actually go by my own name. It's a bit confusing because as an illustrator and as a furniture designer, I use my own name. As a studio HunterGatherer, I think it's a little bit of a nod to a slight simplicity in things, and maybe, obviously there's a primitivism, hard to say, there, and maybe just the idea that despite how far we've come, there's sort of certain human conditions that stay persistent. We are a traditional design studio in the fact that we do, design for clients. We do a lot of animation. We do some illustration. So I mean, it's sort of a full-service design firm that I'd say focuses mainly, more than anything, on animation and storytelling, is how I would put it. I mean, oftentimes, if it's an animation, it's narrative by design. So you're often working with a client on what that narrative is and picking out the story, how you want to communicate the story, sort of boiling it down. Sometimes we work as writers alongside the client. Other times things come to us more fully formed. But I think overall, just trying to boil things down. Simplicity is obviously very big. I think one of the good things about working the way I work is that it's set up in a way where you get lulls between projects, and if you have a little lull, you can go back to something else. So if we're very busy with client work or animation for a couple of months and then it slows down, you can go back and pick up some of the things you're doing on furniture design. Obviously, with all these things, you have to have somewhat of consistency in terms of people need things. So that's built in, but I actually enjoy doing one thing, coming back to it, bouncing around a bit. It actually keeps me interested. This is an example of a campaign that came to us fairly far along in terms of what it was about. So what it was actually about was they were coming out with new Priuses in this case, and they were making this joke of what do you call more than one Prius? Do you call it a Prius is, or do you call it a Prii? So it's sort of a heady concept for a car promo in a lot of ways. So in that case, they had done some of the initial thinking on just that setup of that concept and a little bit on showing multiples and showing plurals and how that worked. And then in order to make the animation, one of the things we thought about was growing up on things like Electric Company and Sesame Street, which are kids shows in the US and Sesame Street everywhere. It was a subject matter that seemed to dovetail easily with that. And it's one of the things that came to mind very quickly, like those kind of little jingles that explain grammar and explain language. So we, in that case, suggested that instead of telling what was originally a story, we actually make it a song. And we sort of wrote some of the original lyrics that went with it and the construction of it and how it might pace itself along. So in that case, I think the solution within the problem was something that was evocative of a form that a lot of people could relate to, and we took it in that direction and made that even not just a narrative, but actually a song in that instance. Sometimes with written word, there's essentially gaps. There's things that would be better explained visually. So with the scripts for video and with working in video, you're always looking for how do you tell a story in a way that is better suited to video and in a way that you almost couldn't do in print. So I think with complex thoughts, sometimes a picture literally tells 1,000 words, and I think looking for that simplicity and looking for that space that only video can work and making it customized for that.